Hello, everyone. I'd like to get started. All right. Thanks for your attention, everyone. I'm Leanne Smith. I'm the leader of the STEM Academy, and I'm here to welcome you to our STEM Senior Night. There are 60 seniors graduating from the STEM Academy this year, and you are about to see an impressive amount of outstanding work. This class has certainly had its fair share of tough times, but they have stuck with it and done a great job of preparing for their futures. The COVID shutdowns of March 2020 hit this class at the end of their sophomore year. Their junior year was impacted by our hybrid learning schedule and a world that was different in countless other ways. Their senior year hasn't really been what you would call normal, but we have been able to return to some of the things that make school fun. Throughout all of this, we have done our best to make the STEM Academy a place where they could still explore and create, and tonight we are here to celebrate all that we have accomplished during these unusual times. So tonight, the graduating seniors will each present one slide that briefly summarizes their capstone project, and the order of their presentations is listed in the program. And when we're done with this, we're going to move down to the library where the projects are currently on display, and you'll be able to talk to anyone you would like in more detail about their project. They will also be displaying information about the internship that they did with the STEM Academy. Those are the two of the most important parts of the Academy, the internship and the capstone project. And many of these people didn't get to have an internship night that was in person, where they got to discuss their internship with visiting people. And also these presentations are being live streamed in the back of the room, thank you, Jesse, for everyone who couldn't attend in person. And we're also going to have some live streaming in the library as well. So the STEM Academy, our objectives, career exploration is the primary one. We'd like these people to get a chance to explore the things that they're interested in before they go out into the world and make some big decisions that cost a lot of money about things that they might want to do. We give them plenty of chances for self-reflection along the way. They make connections with like-minded peers in their STEM advisory, with faculty, and also with people out in the community when they're doing their internships and their projects. They work collaboratively on a variety of STEM projects. They establish a professional online presence, and they fully utilize the EHS math and science curriculum. To get the STEM endorsement, you need to be in a STEM advisory. You need to create a digital portfolio, which almost everyone has done. You need to complete 9.5 STEM credits, not including the labs. You need to do the STEM internship class in your junior year, a capstone project in your senior year, 10 STEM lectures, and then also workshops, which we have about once a month. So now I'm going to turn this over to the students. So the way that this is going to work, I would like the person who's about to speak, the person who's like in the on-deck circle, please come up and stand here next to me so we can keep this thing moving, and then you're just going to come on one after the other. And there's also, I think 6 playoff matches were announced yesterday for today, so there's going to be some athletes who may come in later, so if a name comes up and there's no person, we may come back to them. All right, so Emo, I heard the tennis bus was back. Are you here? Softball. Okay, sorry. Is softball here? Okay. Riam?
Good evening, everyone. I am Riam, and I've been interested in architecture since I was in 8th grade. So for my capstone project, I continued my internship project, which was to create, it's called Orok Monument. I named it Orok because that's the ancient name of Iraq, our modern called country right now. And I wanted this to be a double helix monument. I wanted it to be a double helix because double helix is like representing DNA. DNA defines who we are, where we came from, and our ancestor. So that connects to many of us, and not just the specific country, Iraq. So like tourists, people who are coming to the historical museum can relate. And I decided that that can be the current entrance to the current monument. And that is, the bottom here is just a sketch of the little cylinder. Is that where the double helix will be going? And my model is in the library, and you can check it out after. Thank you.
Yeah, Riam has some pictures, some other shots of her monument here. Kaylee, not back yet? Okay, softball. Franny. All right.
Hi, my name is Francesca Bianchi, and my Capstone project was about single-use plastic water bottles. This is something that is really important to me because I care a lot about the environment, and not only are single-use plastic water bottles bad for the environment, but they are also bad for humans and animals. They pollute our airways and when they're being disposed of and also produced, and they also clog our oceans, causing animals to mistake the plastic for food, and that can cause them to die or get sick. They also leak BPA's into the water itself, which is harmful for humans, but can also be really harmful for the ocean once it gets there. These are all reasons why people need to make the simple change of switching to a reusable water bottle. Thank you.
Alrighty, awesome. So my capstone project was on Legal Bonte's athletic care and prevention class, and we looked at the muscular skeletal system, which I picked out the least off-putting picture I could find. But yeah, in the class we looked at from head to toe every single injury that can happen to your body with athletes. And I decided to take a look at the knee, which was my, again, my kind of specific idea. Anyways, but I decided to look at the knee and to look at all the injuries that could happen to it and come up with some ideas of what could be possible in the future for the recovery and prognosis of knee injuries for athletes. All right, thank you.
So hi, I'm Leslie Bostwick, and my project was creating a mini casino in AP Comp Sci. So the objectives were, we were given a list of, you could either create a blackjack or craps, and the blackjack had a class, which is just like some information, but the rest you had to do on your own. So my project was combining both games into one single program. So if a user inputted money, they could switch from game to game without having to exit out of the program. It also included some cheats, and yeah, and that was the whole thing. If you want to play it, come see me in the library.
So Zach Brisson couldn't make it tonight. He's been volunteering with Fairfax Rescue for a while, and he did a project where he put together a booklet to help patients who were having difficulties communicating with EMTs, so you could point at the different pictures and help facilitate communications in emergency situations.
Hi, my name is Eve, and I did my project through AP Environmental Science with Ms. Bessie, and I wanted to focus on recycling and how social pressures and psychology affects the rate of recycling in our communities. Poor recycling rates really affect our environment. The plastics, they can leach toxic things that can cause endocrine disorders in animals and in humans, and some people don't realize how a lack of recycling really affects us, like every day. They kind of just throw the plastic away and just assume that someone will take care of it, and I'm here to tell you guys that that's not what happens. And yeah, there's more about it on my poster that explains in depth what happens when you don't recycle.
Good evening, I'm Eli Chauvin, and my project was building an efficient tower. So I'm in the engineering and architectural design program through CTE, and this was one of our assignments. So basically what my assignment was to do is my tower had to hold up a minimum of one of these textbooks right here. And we were limited to 4 sheets of paper, and the goal was efficiency, so that means holding the most amount of weight for the least amount of paper as possible. And mine had an efficiency of about 800, and in the library I have a video of my tower failing. And through this project I learned a lot about the design process, and on my trifold I have various prototypes that I made, and I saw how these didn't work, and please feel free to check it out.
Hello everybody, my name is Cooper Cleveland. In my capstone project for AP Environmental Science, I took a look at climate change, contributing factors, and potential solutions. I found that the most effective and direct way for us to limit our impact on the climate was to cut our greenhouse gas emissions from the production of electricity. So the question became, how do we efficiently produce energy without burning fossil fuels? I found that solar power, for many reasons, is the most efficient way to produce energy without impacting the climate very bad. Yeah.
I was like, that's not me. Hi, my name is Toby Cram. I did my project during robotics in Mr. Chase's class. My project is, I got the idea based off of the supply chain, like the issues going on with that, how like nothing's able to get off boats, nothing's able to get shipped to houses or companies. So what I did about that was I did an autonomous vehicle delivery, or delivery vehicle, which can, using its ultrasonic sensor, it will detect accurately stuff that's in its way and then make correction courses out of the way, around the object, and then it'll continue on its course and then repeat that process until it gets to the destination. So yeah, it's just a way to take the people out of the equation and efficientize the shipping industry. So, sweet.
Hello, I'm Braden Cummings, and for my capstone, I did a project through my anatomy and physiology class with Ms. Krug, and the objective was to create a device that keeps people safe to prevent injury. So I wanted to find a project that was relatable to me, and I'm a runner, so I found that trail running is full of hazards and is probably one of the most dangerous surfaces to run on because it has holes, trees, rocks, and like any terrain to sprain an ankle. So I want to create smart glasses equipped with sonar, that the sonar would track where the hazards are on the ground, and then the data will be processed and projected onto the lens to notify the user where the hazard is located. And I have a project in the library that works with sonar, so come check it out after. Thank you.
So hi, I'm Mason Cutler, and ever since I can remember, I was interested in engineering. So for my capstone, I focused on robotics, and I created a robot that would autonomously load, transport, and unload cargo. And in doing this, I ran into multiple problems where I had to figure out how it would get to its destination and how it would be able to operate how it was supposed to. And so if you want to see the details on how I got around those, they're on my poster in the library. Thank you.
My name is Ben Dibler, and I took a look at C. elegans, which are these tiny microscopic worms that are used in human research for like diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And I looked specifically at the DAF2 gene, which determines if this insulin receptor gene also regulates salt chemotaxis in the worms. So you can find my results in the library.
So Thomas is unavoidably detained, and he prepared a recording for us. So let's give this a go.
My name is Thomas Sexton, and for my Capstone project, I coded a program that helps swimmers determine the best way to split their goal time, as well as the best way they could have split their personal best time. The program is based on the fastest times ever swam in a short course pool, and uses each 50 split percentage of any given record, and applies that percentage to the user's personal best time and goal time in the chosen event. Output into calculated splits. I created this program based on my knowledge and data from my computer science course, while also using both engineering and math skills.
My name's Maya, and I did my capstone in my AP Environmental class with Miss Bessie, and I did it on sustainable food. And I researched things like how unsustainable farming, transportation, land use, and packaging are all a part of global climate change. And I answered a few questions such as, how are our food eating choices impacting the environment? How does the EHS community contribute to this issue? And what are some things we can do to help solve this issue? And you can learn more about it in the library. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Aiden Ferreira. My capstone focused on paper rockets and different designs. I tested different designs and attachments such as different body lengths, wings, noses, weights, and center of mass. I ran into some challenges during this project as some of the rockets did explode and didn't actually fly. Here's a picture of the air pressure cannon that I used to launch some of the rockets. So at first I made 18 identical rockets that the only changes to them were the variable that I was trying to test. And after those and collecting all the data, I made another rocket that had all the best attachments to it and one with all the worst ones, and tested those two. And if you want to find out the results and how some of the rockets exploded, come see my poster afterwards.
Hi everyone, my name is Riley Finn, and I did my capstone on a case study based on my own injuries. It was in Leo's special topics class. So I have a rare condition called tarsal coalition, and it affects less than 1% of the population. And what it is basically, it's an abnormal junction of two or more bones in the foot. So I wanted to know what was causing me pain for the past 12 years and how, everyone would go about fixing it, not just myself. But then I also followed my own healing path as I got surgery March 4th, and I have the operative report, so I was able to look at that in-depthly as well, and I was able to summarize it and take out all of the big complicated medical jargon that I need to look up every 3 words, so I could actually understand that. And apparently I had a gastroc slide, an Evans osteotomy, and a lateral column lengthening, and if you want to know what that actually is, you can come see me in the library. And then I also documented my recovery, which was up to 8 weeks post-op, and I'm now 12 weeks post-op today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amelia Frisbee, and for my capstone, I studied maternal and infant mortality in the United States. I started my research by looking at the common causes that lead to maternal and infant deaths in the United States, which are listed on my slide. Then I looked into how the rates compare internationally to other industrialized countries and found that the US is significantly behind with much higher rates than comparable countries. This is shown on the graph on the left. And then lastly, I looked into the solutions that the US can take, and in terms of lowering these rates, in order for the US to make progress in this area, they need to improve access to healthcare, which means more OBGYN appointments, more access to prenatal care, therapy for mothers, legal and safe abortions. These type of things will drastically decrease our death rates for women, mothers, and children. This is what I found. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kira Jumo, and I did my capstone and started out in AP stats, testing for a difference to see if sun impacted depression amongst teens. And when my data proved the opposite of what I was trying to prove, I decided to figure out what the true misperceptions were around seasonal affective disorder and why so many people around me seem to believe that they suffer from it. And I found out that seasonal affective disorder is not the actual disease that they're facing. It has a lot more to how we interact with our environment and how that impacts mental health. And I wanted to see how being outside affects your brain chemistry and how humans are naturally connected to nature. So I discovered the theory of biophilia, and from there I learned how humans are connected to their environment and why spending time in their environment has positive impacts for their mental health.
Hi, I'm Cole, and I did a Java coding casino for my capstone. And what I did is I took because for one of our projects in computer science, we had to code either craps or blackjack, and I took that, and then I coded the other one, which is blackjack in my case, and then I added to it by adding a slot machine, and then I also made my own sort of pseudo game of high-low, and added that as well. And I added a coding interface as well to link all 4 games together, much like what Leslie did with hers, so you can keep the betting going between the games. And then I applied all the learning I had used throughout the year and most of the major concepts that we'd hit on throughout and applied it to my project overall.
Hi, I'm Colin Gorman, and I made a UV sensor and vitamin D calculator. And my capstone project is supposed to help people increase their vitamin D intake during the day, helps them get more UV exposure each day. And as the graph in the middle points out, over 74% of people suffer from being in below optimum levels of vitamin D in their bloodstream. And I coded my calculator on a Raspberry Pi, which is the picture on the left. And I coded in Python, which was interesting because I've never actually used Python before, so it took a lot of like troubleshooting and Googling until I finally got it to work. I'm currently trying to work on a patent for this idea, just in case it ever, like Apple ever wants to put on like an Apple Watch or something. So that's pretty cool.
Hi, my name is Isha, and I made colorblind contacts for my project in anatomy. Oh, sorry. So the problem is to solve the issue of people with any type of color blindness, and the anatomy it's built with a chip inside, and it's custom made, so you have to go to like a doctor's appointment before you get these. And how it works is that it's like basically a computer in your like eye contact, and it'll autocorrect your eye vision without changing other colors. And for the concept, it's meant to be more manageable than colorblind glasses. And you can find out more on my in the library.
Hello, my name is Lori Hamel, and for my capstone project, I did it on composting. So on this slide, you can see a few of the questions I covered in my trifold, and these range from like what is composting to what are the advantages and disadvantages of composting, and different ways to compost, and also the different types of composting. There's aerobic, anaerobic, and vermicomposting. I've also included some ways you can compost at home. And I also did a comparison of the Vermont laws on composting versus the federal laws. Thank you.
I'm Bartlett Hemingway. I did mine on hydroponics. I think it was last year the school was able to buy hydroponics. It was given to our STEM Academy, where a group of us built it, and then now we have basil and lettuce growing in it. So my project was on like what hydroponics is, how it's helping the environment and the people around the world, and then you'll be able to see like the steps we took to build it if you come see my post in the library. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian House, and I did my STEM capstone in conjunction with an AVPA capstone designed to promote enrollment in the EHS music ensembles here. And on a more personal note, I love music so much, but I was unsure about the physics that went into it. And learning some in Mr. Stapleton's class this year, as well as doing some of my own research, it was wonderful to see how music can affect young learning minds, promoting different language and reading aspects, as well as looking at the symmetry of the sine waves that are graphed in sound, seeing how they collaborate, what emotions they evoke once combined. And I created 2 audiobooks using these concepts and intervals that portrayed certain emotions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Iris Chung, and I did my capstone on nature-based education and the state of it in our district. So I did a survey on how nature-based education is incorporated into our classrooms here at Essex High School, as well as working on a project to investigate the ways that state policies incentivize environmental education in other states and the state of our, and the way that we have policies in our state of Vermont and the ways that we could change those to better support educators in incorporating nature into their classrooms. And so here I have some of the benefits of nature-based education and a little sneak peek at some of the recommendations that came out of my report, and some of the barriers that teachers face in our district. So if you want to learn about those recommendations or about nature-based education, please stop by.
Hi, I'm Maria Hearn. I did my project through my botany class, and using some of the experiments we did in botany class, as well as some independent experiments I did outside of class. I did 4 total experiments measuring how environmental factors can impact plants. Number 1, I was able to clone a jade plant using a artificial version of a hormone that plants naturally produce. I also was able to dye flowers using food dye and using osmosis and capillary action that causes water to go up from the stem of a plant to the petals. I was able to dye the plant in a split dye pattern. I was also able to change the scent of a flower using essential oils. I used essential oil, peppermint oil, and had some willing family members stick their noses into my flower and measure how much they smelled like a peppermint. And then I also did geotropism, which I was able to have a plant curve up at a 90-degree angle simply by tilting the plant on its side. As when plants are tilted on their side, their roots will grow downwards and their stems will still continue to grow upwards. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fatma Khan, and I did my project through my APES class on flood resilience in vulnerable communities. I chose this because floods affect more people globally than any other type of natural hazard. Flood resilience is a term that means that damages are minimized during times of flooding, and it also encompasses the flood recovery process. Communities are flood resilient when they are able to anticipate, prepare for, respond to, and recover from significant floods with minimum damage to social well-being, the economy, and the environment. Furthermore, climate events like flooding disproportionately impact low-income, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. But this isn't just a global issue. Communities throughout Vermont face this reality when Hurricane Irene hit in 2011. Due to climate change, the increasing frequency of flooding requires pre-event mitigation strategies in order to limit the possibility of a hazardous event evolving into a natural disaster, leading to repetitive loss and rebuilding, especially in vulnerable communities. So increasing flood resilience means ensuring the well-being of our communities and our environment. And if you want to learn more, you can check my poster out.
Hi, so my project topic is urban sprawl, which is residential and commercial development that utilizes land very inefficiently. My project kind of revolved around 3 investigative questions, which are: what are the infrastructural components of urban sprawl and their impact on the environment? How does urban sprawl affect public health? And then, does poor community planning disproportionately affect the lower class, which is a really crucial piece of this because sprawl is an inequity issue, and everyone deserves to live in a community that energizes them. And then finally, I proposed an action plan that combats this issue on a local level, both at EHS and just kind of in our town. So that would be like implementing green architecture features and incentivizing individual sustainability measures like biking to school and things like that. So if you want to learn more about those things, check out my trifold. Thank you.
So I did biodiesel because I think biology, chemistry, and like engineering is pretty cool. I did it out of algae and tried to make a diesel because like the laws around ethanol feels kind of a little grayish. I didn't really want to get involved with that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually get anything to turn out because obviously you can't really grow it in the winter, and it's been winter pretty close to now, and the like exponential growing period kind of gives you like a finite window when you can actually harvest this stuff and use it. If you want to learn more, come to my trifold, yeah.
Hi, I'm Madeline. I did my capstone in AP Environmental Science, and I focused on sustainable clothing. As I've learned in our community today, we purchase clothing at such a high rate, but we don't really keep it for that long. So I made my capstone project about how buying sustainable clothing is important for our environment. And yeah, so if you have more questions about that, check out my trifold in the library. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin Lee. Today my STEM Academy capstone presentation will be on urban heat islands. I first got interested in this topic when I visited New York City a couple years ago. And spending a lot of time in the different boroughs, like comparing Midtown Manhattan to like Queens or Brooklyn, led me to realize a lot of the different temperatures within the same city, same few like weeks, so same average temperature around. So the urban heat island is essentially an effect or a phenomenon rather, where urban areas have higher temperatures than their surrounding vicinity. And this is due to four main causes, I guess. The first is the usage of low albedo materials, which is dark surfaces, a lack of vegetation, high population density, and inefficient urban geometry. And within Vermont, it's actually kind of funny because Burlington, Vermont is ranked 13 in the US for having a high UHI index, which is fairly high and is a lot higher than a lot of other larger cities around the United States. So if you want to figure out why Burlington is so high in that regard, just feel free to check out my trifold.
So I did my project on the anomaly of climate change as it pertains to jellyfish. Basically, I was just studying how climate change affects various different types of marine life, and I found out that it actually provides a pretty nice environment if you're a jellyfish. And so my project is kind of in three parts. The first part is how climate change and in general human influence affects the jellyfish population. And the second part is how this population boom of jellyfish that has been occurring in the past couple years, how that's affecting the rest of the marine environment and other human endeavors. And the final part is my predictions and analysis of what this will cause in the following years and how it will change our oceans and our fishing industries.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I did my project on mapping the cancer genome, and so scientists are researching genomes in order to find strategies for attacking cancerous cells. After completion of the Human Genome Project, over 350 cancer-related genes have been recorded, and then I also focused on an experimental oncolytic cancer-killing virus, which has just started its first phase of clinical trials on humans, and their hopes are successfully fighting against tumors. Thank you.
So I'm Katie, and I created my capstone through my anatomy class. And as a former swimmer, I had a lot of swimmers here. So I focused on three things. One, earplugs that are reusable. that you can't really see because most of the time they're really big and bulky, and focused on preventing swimmer's ear, so drying the ear out before the infection grows.
My name is Madeline Molino, and I did my STEM capstone project on THC and the developing brain. So THC is the psychoactive component of cannabis, and I really focused on the parts of the brain and your body that THC targets and kind of disrupts. So the major organ system that is disrupted when THC is introduced to your body is the endocannabinoid system. And not much is known about this system, but it is the fastest growing field in psychopharmacology. So we know that it interacts with our endocannabinoid receptors by sitting in those receptors for longer than your endocannabinoids would. So those are cannabinoids that your body produces naturally and are easily broken down. So the lifespan of THC is much longer, and that raises questions about downregulation of those receptors and issues that can bring up. So other things in my capstone that I focused on was defining addiction and reward pathways, and calling for next steps in education for both youth and litigators, and also calling for rescheduling of cannabis, because currently it is classified as a Schedule I drug, which means that research is really hard to conduct regarding it. So I promote that it is rescheduled to a Schedule II drug. And if you're interested in more about how THC can affect the developing brain and all the questions and concerns it brings up, come see me in the library.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Firdaus Mohammed, and for my capstone, I researched the differences in the effect of antibiotics on gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. I had 4 main questions where I looked at the difference between these 2 types of bacteria and how different antibiotics affect gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. And then I also looked at how gram stains themselves can help doctors identify different infections. So if you're interested in any of that, you can come find me in the library afterwards. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samuel Nichols, and for my capstone project, I made an Arduino robot that will drive to any user-given coordinate. I got this idea because there's a lot of problems with getting access to clean water around cities around the world, especially in poorer cities. In India especially, they're having a lot of pipeline issues, and so a current solution that people are coming up with is remote-controlled robots that will drive around and deliver clean water, like the little guy with the face you see over on the right. And so I tried to recreate that, but it drives on its own once you give it coordinates, and I tried to get it to navigate obstacles, but it's a work in progress, so thank you.
Hello, I'm Max Filippo, and I did my project, my capstone on coding games. With help from Mr. Langevin and my knowledge I learned from AP Computer Science throughout the year, I decided to design and create 4 different well-known games that are very fun and playable that you can check out in the library afterwards. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Avery Rabdu, and I also did my capstone through AP Computer Science. I coded 2 different casino games, Blackjack and Craps. They both have working betting, and I was able to make use of some of the major topics that were touched on throughout my time in AP Computer Science, and I'll have it set up for people to play in the library.
Hi, I'm Madison Rabdu, and for my capstone, I actually did a project for my STEM internship where I interned at Net Zero Vermont, which is a local nonprofit. I mainly worked on, I organized a walking event for a local senior housing complex, and I handled the advertisement that comes with that, and I made the flyers to kind of help spread the word. And I also created a map and an infographic because the main kind of reason behind the walk was to try to encourage people to get out and to keep walking and like to inform others of all the good benefits that come with walking. So yeah, if you want to learn more, feel free to stop by my trifold. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Walker. I did my capstone project in AP Stats this year. I did it on our GPA in Sports Independent. So I did an observational study on students at Essex High School, and I asked them what sports they play, how many sports they play, and then what their GPA was to see if they're independent. It turns out they're not independent. So if you want to know a little bit more about what data sets are non-normal, you can come check that out at my trifold.
Hi, I'm Hannah Schmiegel, and for my capstone project, I did it through my AP Environmental Science class, and I chose ocean plastics and how it can affect marine life. And I also looked at many different ways on how you can get involved in some organizations, and if you'd like to find out more, you can come check out my trifold. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Stempek. I decided to dig a little bit deeper into one of our everyday household cleaners, laundry detergent, and my goal of this project is to promote sustainable laundry products and educate the public on the non-sustainable ones. Stop by my station to view a couple of products that I bought from our local restock shop.
I'm going to go back one. We knew that the ultimate Frisbee people were not going to make it, so they made some recordings for us. So let's go back to Gil.
Hey everyone. So for my capstone project, I decided to research underwater housing, and I decided to do this because I'm interested in studying marine or wildlife biology or some form of science in the future. But also like oceanography has really interested me, and just ecosystems underwater have really interested me. So that's why I chose to do underwater housing, because I think creating underwater housing with our growing population right now, it's unsustainable to continue building on land. So building underwater housing in the future, obviously it's hard with the resources we have right now, but to create ecosystems and create new environments for animals to live by, and also improve our environment immensely. So that's why I decided to do it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Heidi, and part of Leo's Care and Prevention Special Topics class, I looked into running biomechanics and how you can change your gait to make it more efficient, and I also kind of looked into different gait analysis that people have based on like weak muscles or just like common habits that they've sort of adapted over time, and sort of come up with different ways and research how you can change that to make for a more effective gait. So if you want to learn more, feel free to stop by my poster.
Hi, I'm Tate Stubbs. So for my capstone project, I worked with Dr. W in advanced biology and did kind of a psychological study. So my capstone project was designed to analyze how people from different age groups thought about solving a semi-complex problem. I decided to study this topic by having individuals in different age groups try and solve part of a 2x2 Rubik's Cube. I then timed them to see how long it took and counted the number of moves it took them. So stop by and see how the data turned out. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Andrina. Through my anatomy class, I wanted to make like a sort of sensor that can detect like the air quality around you. Like through the past couple of years, we've noticed that like air pollution and the spread of airborne diseases are like a really dangerous threat in our lives, and it probably would have been a little bit better if there was a better way for us to like detect if we were like in a dangerous area or like in a contaminated area. So it would just be like something on your watch that can like let you know how long you have to stay in an area that has like high levels of air pollution before you get infected and before your health is at risk.
Hi, I'm Olivia Toomey, and I did my capstone project through my AP Environmental Science class. I researched the environmental impacts of manufacturing plastic packaging, as well as what happens when we dispose of it, and some of the alternatives and things that we can put in place to avoid our use of plastic packaging in the future. And if you're interested in coming to talk to me more about that, please come find me in the library.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and for my STEM capstone project, I wrote a chess program in Java that you can play against. Because chess is a fairly complicated game, and I just started learning how to code last September, my initial goal was to write a program that could just know all the legal moves and just randomly play one so that you could at least get a game down. But I ended up completing that goal sooner than I anticipated, so I took it one step further, and now my computer program basically tries out all the moves it can do in that position and sees if any of them have an immediate gain, like for instance checkmate in one where it automatically wins. So now my computer program does that, and the image shows one example of it finding a checkmate in one. So if you want to just have a fun game or learn more or see if you can beat my computer program, feel free to stop by. Thank you.
So do we have anyone from softball here? All right, softball's made it. Great. All right, so let's go back. And so before we get going, is lacrosse back? Carlota, you here? Tennis? Anyone from tennis? All right, so, and were there any others? Let's see. Yeah, that's it. All right, so we'll go through softball, and then we'll head off to the library. All righty. Well, let's hear it.
Hi, so I'm Emmo, and I'm someone who suffers from very seasonal allergies. So I live a very congested life. I can't remember the last time I woke up without a stuffy nose. So to combat that, I attempted to find a solution, an immediate treatment, I could say, for nasal congestion. So I invented Sinice, which is sinus ice. And this is to combat the struggle of congestion. And I made an ice pack. And I didn't have the materials to make an ice pack that will actually fit inside the nasal passage, but I have a blown-up version. And this will help to reduce the swelling of the nasal tissues and around the blood vessels, and provide comfort and hopefully reduce congestion to live everyday life. And it's held in place by magnets on both sides, so it won't slip out of your nose. So if you want to check that out, come visit me at my trifold. Thank you.
I'm Kaylee Appenzeller. I did my STEM capstone through Advanced Bio, where I researched the causes, effects, and potential solutions to human overpopulation. My research has led me to realize the importance of solutions such as providing more education opportunities, especially to women in developing countries, increasing the availability of contraceptives on a global scale, and increasing education on family planning and birth control methods. And if you want to learn more about my trifold, visit me in the library.
There's mine. I'm Grace Cook, and I focused on my capstone with climate change, and I focused more on polar migration because of climate change and why the species is going extinct and why it's migrating and not staying on land as much. Oh no, staying on land more and then not staying in the polar ice caps as much because they're melting completely. And I focused on solutions to climate change like renewable energy sources and weatherizing your home and also using less energy in general. So if you want to learn more about that, you can come to my trifold after.
Hello, my name's Carlota. My senior capstone was done through my AP Environmental Science class, and the topic I chose to research was the illegal ivory trade. I focused on the negative impacts that killing African elephants has on biodiversity, as they are a keystone species, and I also focused on connecting this international issue to our local community.
Hi, my name is Madison McEwen, and I did my capstone project in Advanced Bio with Dr. Dubs. I studied the effects of using the Cas9 protein on Huntington's disease. So if you'd like to learn more about how scientists plan to use the Cas9 protein on Huntington's disease to help cure it in the future, please come to my trifold in the library.
Last call for the tennis team? Nope. All right. So one last big round of applause for all these amazing people. It really is just very impressive when you hear all of them at once. You know, you don't get this whole group together that often, so it's very nice to hear from all of you. Thank you very much. All right, so now we're all going to gather the party up and take it down to the library. The students have posters assembled, so I'll see you all down there.